them that incentive that actually businesses will be looking at this, and actually Software Cornwall could use the work that they've done, that we can actually then kind of give them some inspiration and give them some real world feedback. Because I think, you know, having been to uni quite often, you're kind of not operating in the real world. So actually bringing some of that in, I think will be really valuable. And I'm really looking forward to kind of being able to use that and build on that. And like you say, and then hopefully it will springboard it into getting some actual
Well, the university is a juggernaut, and it takes a long time to turn.
But we're moving. Brilliant. So, yes, Alan, James.
Thanks, Belinda. Well, thanks very much for inviting us to your meeting. I'm going to talk quite briefly, not go into a real potted history of the kind of undergraduate sort of digital media provision here at the university at all. I'm happy to sort of chat to you about that individually if that's of interest, but I'm not going to bore everyone too much with it. So my name's James Moore. I'm sort of the course runner for the existing digital media degrees, and my colleague Al Parker. He'll probably talk to you a lot more directly about the aspects of the kind of curriculum we have at the moment that really relate to this community. But the reason why we've sort of elbowed into your meeting tonight is we're kind of in a process at the moment of research towards a new undergrad course proposal, which we don't know what it'll be called yet. That's one of the things we want to pick your brains about. But I'm from a sort of interaction design or interactive arts, even as it was called then when I did it, background. Al's from a kind of also from an interaction design background. The course here was very much framed around the idea of art and technology, if you like, very broadly speaking. But we never had an opportunity to create a kind of curriculum with like a year zero approach with a blank piece of paper. We sort of took over a degree that was kind of a media production degree, and we started to move it towards an interaction design degree, if you like, broadly speaking. What we're interested in doing now, hopefully with your help and picking your brains about you know, what Belinda referred to as the broken pipeline, if you like. We want to kind of try to do two things. We want to do some very nitty-gritty stuff that will be about real developer skills, which we think will be relevant to your businesses, your culture. But we also have one foot firmly still in the sort of British art school tradition, if you like, which is really strongly informed by sort of experimentation and critical thinking. So that's what we're basically working on at the moment. And that's about all I wanted to say, other than if you have sort of strong feelings about where you see the skills gaps, if you run a business and you suffer from these difficulties that Belinda described in terms of finding the right people, we kind of want our course development process to be informed by trying to address what those problems are. So I'll hand over to Al. He'll tell you a little bit about the extent to which we're dealing with kind of software and creative coding in the course now.
Okay, so I've got a bit of a cold, so you have to it's kind of a bit of a croaky thing going on. I don't know if that's good or not. Basically, as James said, we came from quite a media sort of broadcasting-based course, and so we've been slowly kind of trying to bring this course forward through any means we can, and we've dropped in a few modules, but because they've been dropped onto a course that wasn't quite a best fit for them, they're not really. It's quite a tension between the other modules and the way the course is shaped out to be. So the modules that we've kind of dropped in are Creative Coding 1 and Creative Coding 2, which aren't very inspirational names at all. They're kind of what you'd expect, I guess. And they've been dropped into sort of other content creation type modules as well. Very much in line with, obviously, the coding for schools and sort of those sort of initiatives. The first one is based around processing, so kind of the Java syntax and that side of things, and it's just to get students up and running with code without any setup. So I don't know if anybody's familiar with the processing environment, but you write some code, you press play, and off you go. We didn't start off with Scratch because we felt that we wanted to get people starting, because it's late starting anyway, a lot of the students. It was just good to get them back in, or get them into code quite quickly. And because it's a well-supported environment, good community, actually, it does work out quite well. In that module, they just learn the basics of sort of programming, and they get to build like a little ambient environment where the user can interact with different things. The creative code in year 2 is basically around front-end web development. So that's where we kind of, hopefully, the ones that really enjoy creative code in 2 really shine, and they start to learn JavaScript. It's a slight jump from what they're used to before, because there's a little bit of environment set up to get involved with. And they build apps and mobile devices with a critical aspect around gamification, not wholeheartedly accepting it, but kind of like a critique of and kind of probing around those ideas. So they'll build an app and a website. So that's what we've got as a kind of like pushed on top of what we had before. And we're really kind of open now to sort of finding out better ways of making it more integrated. Completely scrapping it if that's not what the industry wants. We're not precious about these things at all. And you know, it's not every day you get to propose a course, so we want to get it right and we want to get it as perfect as we can. So any suggestions around, I know it's quite a heavy lean towards Agile and bringing Agile into it. We've never had the time to actually deliver part of a module around Agile or anything, because you need a lot of time to teach development, and when all the other modules are kind of taken up with other stuff as well, it's hard to squeeze these things in. So if that's something that's good, we're quite happy to plug it in. Or not plug it in, but integrate it. So it's kind of that wholehearted kind of course around development and the creative side of it. So any suggestions would be greatly appreciated.
Thanks, Al. So just lastly and really briefly to say, we have put together a very short list of kind of questions, which I think might have been circulated beforehand to some members of the group as well. But I set up a camera just out here, and if you've got any strong kind of views on what education could and should be doing, you know, towards this sector in order to sort of hopefully plug some of those gaps, please come and chat to us about it, and we'd love to sort of pick your brains. So thanks very much. Thanks again, Belinda. Cheers.
Cool, thank you.
Right.
Yeah, similarly, we'll have a table that we can do a quick kind of 15-20 minutes where you can go over and contribute to that. And you don't have to stay on one table either. We'll basically put post-it notes up, so you can just go and write your post-it notes up wherever you like. Who's next? I've lost track. Simon.
Yeah.
Who's next?